OTB AM.
With Gillette, we don't just play the game, we change it. Gillette, made of what matters.
Yes, happy Christmas and welcome to the Off the Ball Stars, a media tradition and a sporting tradition unlike any other. On this Christmas Eve, we are bringing you the gongs that matter. We're going to have Kieran Donaghy with us to pick his football team of the year. Tommy Walsh will be picking his hurling team of the year. We're going to have Valerie, Wheeler and Aising O'Reilly with us as well to pick the Camogie team and the LGFA team of the year as well. Players of the year to be decided in all of those. But before all that, a host of categories to get through. And we have an independent adjudication panel of one person and one person only. It is Ger Gilroy. How does it feel to be at your first Off the Ball Stars Awards?
Oh, amazing, yeah. It's almost like the real thing.
Really? What real thing?
The actual All Stars that everybody cares about.
No, this is the real thing. The other award ceremony that happens is a rip-off of our model. And
this one's already better than that one because we don't have any of the rubbish that RTE produced. But anyway.
You've got a couple of categories to judge for us today, Jerry. You're going to be judging the non-GEA, GEA person of the year. You're going to be judging the actually football is okay moment of the year. You're going to be giving us the beef of the year. You're going to be giving us our Afl Star of the year, our GAA accessory of the year, and our commentary moment of the year. So there is a lot to get into.
There is. I wish you'd given me some warning about some of these categories, and I might have thought about them for more than the 2 seconds that... Go on, anyway.
Without further ado, let's get into our first category, which is non-GEA, GEA person of the year. And the nominees are Paul Mescal, because look at those shorts. John Egan, because there he is, good Kerry fan. Nailed his colours to the mast this year by saying he would support Kerry in a game against Cork. And also after scoring his first Premier League goal for Sheffield United this year, he said this.
In the opposition penalty area?
When I used to play Gaelic football, yeah, probably the last time I hit one like that. But no, listen, the skip has done well, you know, he's flicked the ball on and he's kept it alive, and, you know, I just timed the run nice, and I suppose it was a nice finish, yeah.
And our final nominee is Simon Cooper of the Financial Times for tweeting, and on the subject of Brexit, this is the best sport ever, and if the Irish had colonised the world, nobody would ever have heard of football, as he quote tweeted a link of Stephen O'Keefe making that brilliant double save in the All-Ireland hurling final. So, Ger, who is the non-GEA, GEA sports person of the year? Is it Paul Mescal, John Egan or Simon Cooper?
Well, it's Paul Mescal because I'm from Kildare and he's from Kildare, and it has to be right, but there you go. So he's the winner. But you could definitely make the case for Simon Cooper, but it's a little bit of like, oh, we love the Irish, we love when somebody from outside says we're good, but Paul Mescal's one of our own.
It's a good point. We do love when someone like Simon Cooper would say something like that. I thought he was a shoo-in, and I'm kind of a little bit offended that you didn't even put John Egan into consideration. So congratulations, Paul Mescal. The award is on its way to you. Our second category today is the actually football is okay moment of the year. So we have got 5 nominees in this. The first is Cavan winning Ulster. Also nominated in this category is Tipperary winning Munster. Another nominee for the actually football okay award is Cork beating Kerry. Next up is Mayo making a contest at the All-Ireland and playing for whatever, 45, 50 minutes. And then finally, Meath scoring 7 goals in 2 Leinster matches. We really thought football was okay at that moment.
Oh, you just took Meath in there at the end to have a dig at me, and you could barely even get the Cork beating Kerry out of your mouth. It was like the very words were sticking in your throat like that extra mince pie that you really shouldn't have tomorrow after dinner. The only correct answer to this is Tipperary, obviously, because that was the biggest upset that we're ever likely to see, and fair play to them. And also, it annoyed everybody in Munster. It was like, oh, Kerry, like, oh, we didn't even get beaten by the Munster champions. And also the jerseys that they did it in, the fact that it was commemorating what it was commemorating on Bloody Sunday, it was phenomenal. The whole thing came together.
And everybody in Munster was properly bitter and properly happy to see Mayo smash them in the semi-final is also the truth. That's not actually true. We were all happy as well. Congratulations to Tipperary. That is the actually football is okay moment of the year. Next up is Beef of the Year. Only 3 contenders in Beef of the Year this year. The first is GAA versus Neffet.
Oh, now this is good, because I just assumed that there was a straightforward winner, but this might be the one where it's like, what are you doing? You can't say that to us. And then the massive outbreaks, the map of new club champions and celebrations seems to map massive outbreaks quite a lot there.
Our second nominee is Pat Gilroy versus Andy McEntee. What a titanic struggle that was on the Sunday game a few weeks ago. And then our final Beef of the Year nominee is Davy Fitzgerald versus Brian Lohan. Met twice this year. They shook hands 0 times, although nobody shook hands in the era of COVID. So does that actually impact their chances? Who are you going for?
Well, I did think that Davy versus Lohan was unimpeachable. It was, like, it's such a deep-seated beef. But, like, government, like, National Health Task Force getting taken out and, like, the bullets fired at them and then the bullets rebounding and shooting yourself in the foot. It's like, oh, I blew my foot off. But I'm going to go with Davy versus Lohan because you made the documentary.
But where is the empirical evidence? Show me the empirical evidence. I thought that would have been the one that gave it to GA versus Neffa. But no, congratulations to Davy, congratulations to Brian Lohan. You can take turns with the award this year. Next up is AFL Star of the Year. The nominees are Mark Keane, obviously, Colin O'Riordan for his performances with Tipperary.
So Mark Keane, because he reaches the final and he's good at it, the actual game. Is that so? What,
no,
we're
we're
what's
talking
the award?
about. Well, it's up to you who made the biggest impact in Australia, but really in the context of who impressed us up here, because our third nominee is Conor McKenna, who is obviously a proper GEA star at this point.
I mean, Zach Toohey should be on the list. If it's like if Mark Keane's making the list, why is Zach Toohey not on the list?
It's a good question. Our fourth nominee is Mark O'Connor. Oh wait, no, he actually had to self-isolate and didn't actually play for Kerry this year. So it's actually AFL Star of the GEA year is the full name of this category.
Okay.
Which I left out. So who are you giving it to? You've got Mark Keane, Colin O'Riordan, Conor McKenna.
I don't know. I don't know. So, I mean, is the one moment is the arse into Tommy Walsh is that enough? I mean, Conor McKenna was like this amazing force, but they didn't get over Donaghy and then couldn't get over Cavan. So, like, I think
you got to give it to Conor McKenna.
I think he's next year's. I think
right.
the electrifying thing that he's going to have. So I think, I'm sorry, but it has to go to the Corkman, right?
Mark Keane, congratulations. You are this year's AFL Star of the GEA year.
But that's not right. That's not. I can't give it to him because he didn't have the biggest impact, really. Although he did. Did he?
A pretty sizable impact on the shattering of my heart and the shattering of a lot of people's hearts.
I would only be giving him this award to taunt you.
Yeah. I mean, is that not reason enough to do anything?
No. I think the Tipperary man deserves it for actually winning something.
Colin O'Riordan.
He won something. The trophy, silverware, that's the biggest impact. Happy days.
Colin O'Riordan, to add to your Munster title, you are the AFL Star of the GEA year. Next up is the GAA Accessory of the Year. This is a tough one because there were many good options. The first nominee is Tipperary's Bloody Sunday jersey. That's
this is serious. I thought it was going to be like a man bun.
Next up is the Yellow Slitter, a serious part of the year accessory-wise. Next up is Paul Connacht's Tactics Board, a vital cog in the wheel of Tipperary's Limerick's fortunes this year, I should say. Next up is the Gucci Gaa shorts. $300 will set you back for those fine pair of shorts. And then finally, you called it, Oisin Mullen's Man Bun. €20 at a good barber to get the ball rolling on that sort of thing, I would say. Probably.
Davy Byrne had his for a little bit of the championship and then it disappeared come the business end. Is there
from the internet as well? I tried looking at that and all I could find was Oisin Mullen's Man Bun.
Is there a lesson in that, Man Bun equals no All Irelands? No Man Bun equals 6? Does he have 6? Does Davy Byrne have 7?
Who knows, really, to be honest. But like I thought Desi Farrell had lost the dressing room when we saw a Man Bun pop up.
This was the year where Schitt's Creek won every single available category at the Emmys, and this was Paul Mescal's year.
Yeah.
And so really, because of the trends in awards, and we all know that certainly the Off the Ball stars are nothing if not trend followers, then essentially it should be him. But what was the first one?
The Tip jersey.
Tip jersey is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Like, I mean, I thought that there was a moment there where the Tipperary footballers could have decided this is now our footballing identity, that we're going to have our own inter-county jersey, that actually the blue and gold of Tip is great, but it's more associated with the hurlers down through the years, and this is our chance to sell, millions of these jerseys all around the world, given the context of them, and to really separate ourselves as a force within the county. And I thought that was a bit of a missed opportunity. What was the second one?
The second one was the Yellow Slitter.
I'm going with Paul Mescal's Gucci shorts.
Gucci Gaa shorts, $300. You are the winner. I mean, we'll get this. Where are Gucci based out of? New York? Milan?
I'll tell you something Italian, all right? You've heard of the theory of negritude, which they talk about in When We Were Kings. This was the year of cultitude, where finally Paul Mescals of the world stepped forward and, dressed the way Paul Mescal did and laid himself out for all the world to see in his full glory, and then covered them up with barely their shorts. And this is the era of cultitude, except when it comes to actually winning stuff in the All-Ireland finals.
Their headquarters are in Florence. The Gaa Accessory of the Year, Off the Ball Star, is on its way to Florence right now via courier. Next up is the Commentary Moment of the Year. Love this one. The first nominee for Commentary Moment of the Year is Cork versus Kerry on C103.
2 tackles, they still have an opportunity to score. Walk to the crossover here, room towards Damien Gore. Gore's have to come into the field. Luke Connolly, 15 seconds after the call. Connolly goes on shot. It's high. It's high. He's going to land inside the parallelogram. Still inside the edge of the square. It's gone. It's a goal. It's a goal. It's a goal. Mackin has got the goal. Would you believe it? 21 minutes on the clock. Cork have got the goal. What is left in it? They leave by 2 points. Connolly, it's all over. Would you believe it? Cork have won and knocked Kerry out. It's unbelievable.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Amazing.
Fuck me.
What can I say in the last kick of the game? For Kerry to lose it in the last kick.
Well, that was Patrick Mulcahy on his own on his own Twitter account, listening back to it.
Was that the edited version?
We've also got.
Did that go out on air, or was that just the guy in the car?
That was just the guy in the car, but it was him listening back to himself or some relative. Very,
it's
very
Christmas
good.
Eve, don't complain. I'm sorry, we don't care.
Next up, Kieran Cudahy of News Talk was watching some junior hurling, or maybe it was intermediate or senior, I'm not sure, in Kilkenny, and he stumbled upon this glorious piece of commentary from the club championship.
Just ball in and tap of Walter Welch. 2 more gone through. Young Simon Kennedy, what the hell? Take him down! Take him down! He did exactly. Red fucking card! There are no red cards for taking him down. No red cards for taking him down. He's gone. He's gone. The red card. No, it's not. There's no such thing as professional foul. He's gone. For fuck.
He did give a red card.
He did give a red card. That's the Kilkenny moments. So we got 2 good ones. Next up is Blarney versus Ballincollig in the Cork Championship. And this commentator might be a fan of Blarney, I think it's fair to say.
Alan McAvoy. Ballincollig have it. Ballincollig have it. No. 23 Cormac O'Mahony bats it down. Good ball. Pop, you need to win it, Pop. Need to win it. Rides the challenge. Pops it over the head. Pop by name. Pop by nature. Oh, Bertie's one in. Yeah! Yeah! Pop Dolan! Yes! We're back level in this game. Go on, Bertie! Come on, Bertie! What a goal! What a goal. You won't see that in action replay, but Pop Crowley picked up a ball. Your man tried to cream him. He rode it. He popped the ball over the man's head. He ran through. No way should he went for the goal, but he drives it into the top corner of the net. Next ball is vital. Up we go again. Who's going to win it? Joe Jordan is there. Out comes Sean Crowley, his brother. The 2 Crowleys now are coming into their own. Joe Jordan on the ball. Joe winds up. Hits a big one. Colin and POTY. Colin and POTY. POTY's onto it. POTY's onto it. POTY's over the bar! POTY's over the bar! Woo! POTY's over the bar. Come on again. Filter back, Bernie. Ballincollig goes short. Ballincollig goes short. Colin tries to block. Ah! What a game! What a game! What a game! What a game! I'll tell you this. You just can never, ever give up in a hurling match. It is just unbelievable. What character from those Blarney players.
It was probably very, very hard to stop that one. That is the favourite at the moment. And the last one is not really a piece of commentary at all. It is this brilliant piece of... It's just a brilliant monologue at the end of a Bride Rovers game also in Cork, where the commentator it just goes off in this beautiful, meandering monologue. Have a listen to it.
You'd have to say it is a good afternoon's work. And Mary's milking the cows at home. I forgot to tell her that the high field is divided in two. She couldn't leave them up there, but I'll try and be back for the end of the cows. But the bus is unlikely. I won't be going to a pub drinking because I don't drink, but I might try and go for a bit of grub somewhere, because I'll tell you, the eggs Benedict that I got this morning is still rumbling around a little bit in my stomach. And of course there's a lot of other games on tonight, including the Glen and the Bears below in the park, which will be on mainstream television tonight, and there are a host of other games. And we wish all the other clubs, especially our own neighbours in East Cork, who are all playing at the weekend, we wish them all the very best. So we'll say over and out now from a delighted...
all right, you get the picture on that one. Okay. Who are you going for? So you've got Cork versus Kerry, you've got the Kilkenny hurling, you've got Blarney versus Ballincollig.
It's Cork versus Kerry. It's an iconic moment, nearly overshadowed somewhat, but that was... and the F-bombs at the end kind of made the video as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being our independent adjudicator. While Ger is departing us, it's time to tell you about the other awards that we didn't get to show earlier. We didn't have any time to show. The first is the That Old Chestnut Award, which went to the Hurl versus Hurley debate this year. We might split this award with the Splitting Dublin conversation. The good GEA man of 2020 went to David Brady for all the phone calls that he made throughout the year, putting a little bit of life into people's lives in a tough year. The WTF moment of the year goes to Mickey Hart getting appointed Loud Boss. The Leave Hurling Alone Award goes to the many black card debates. And finally, the Epidemiologist of the Year goes to Pat Spillane. Quite a year on the scientific front. And that wraps up the first section of the awards. Time to get into the very serious business of picking our teams of the year. Kieran Donaghy, good morning.
Good morning, Owen. How are you?
Very well. How tough has this been for you to pick your 15 and your Footballer of the Year?
Not too bad, really. To be honest with you, I didn't struggle overly with my team. There's a few changes to the one that was picked by the Sunday game host. So yeah, there's a lot of it picks itself.
Well, when we get into it, we'll be starting goals. Who have you gone for?
I've gone for Thomas Galligan now. It's harsh on Stephen Cluxton. He's gone a season without conceding a goal. But I don't know how many shots he saved in that, whereas Thomas Galligan was put to the pin of his collar on numerous occasions, and some of the saves that he pulled off against Monaghan and against Donegal in the Ulster final were outstanding. And I was at the game with Sky that he banged over that monster of a point to win it.
Raymond, I presume, Kieran.
What was that?
Raymond Galligan.
What did I say? Thomas Galligan. He's cousin. He's on as well.
Could probably do a job in goals as well, and I'm sure he will be in there.
He probably could. Yeah. If Raymond got injured, I'm sure Thomas would be running back to take the jersey off Mala, John Terry, and Jonathan Woodgate, and however else. Vinnie Jones.
John O'Shea.
Did a great job at one time. John O'Shea. But yeah, Raymond Galligan. That point that he kicked was incredible, because they were 6 down with 9 minutes to go, and they miraculously found their way back into the game, and he was outstanding that day. And he's very good on kick-outs as well. And, Cluxton's unlucky to go a season without conceding a goal and not get it. But for me, Galligan, in what he did for Cavan and how he led Cavan through that run and to win an Ulster medal, was absolutely huge for that bunch of players who hadn't done it since '97.
Right, let's get into the full back line. Who lines out here?
Full back line is Oisín Mullen at 2. Unbelievable year. Future massive leader in this Mayo team. And, I think his next agenda now is how to make that number 3 jersey his own and just be the man that's the full back, and that's going to be the rock. And he has to organise his troops and get the team defending going like the Dubs have at the moment. And but he was absolutely outstanding. So he's in at number 2. Mick Fitzsimons is number 3. 8 All-Ireland medal on Saturday night. Huge hit, whether it was a free, black card, yellow card, red card, whatever way I want to call it. He laid down a marker, saw his opportunity to do it, and wouldn't be perceived to be the hard hitting guy at the backs, but he's so good on his feet. He's so good at doubling the ball. He's so good at sniffing danger. He's a massive leader. He's not worried about what his man scores. He's worried about what Dublin can score, and that's what you need in a fullback. That his ultimate goal is to contest everything and be dogged and do everything that's needed to win. And he's been outstanding again and fully deserves his berth at fullback.
Then the other cornerback. So far it's Raymond Galligan, Oisín Mullen, Michael Fitzsimons. Who joins them in the fullback line?
Owen Murchan. I think he's been unbelievable, and like every Dublin back six players, and it's the same with their six forwards, and it's something that teams are going to have to try and look at, is getting them ambidextrous when it comes to they can play any position. And Owen Murchan can play probably 5 out of the 6 back positions. He could play full back if there was a small nippy full forward inside there for a team. Super quick, super athletic, goes about his business in the right manner, can attack and can score, as we saw last year against Kerry. And would be a nightmare for a corner forward, especially a small one, which, you know, every team would have a forward that Murchan would suit. But even when he's outmatched and outsized at times on the physicality side of it, his smarts and his speed and his speed of thought brings him to the fore. So he was outstanding. So I have him in number 4.
Good stuff. The half-back line, maybe at the start of the year, before anything happened, you would have said maybe Jack McCaffrey could be in a shoe in here, James McCarthy potentially. Do either of them, obviously Jack McCaffrey's not going to be there, but could James McCarthy feature a bit further forward in your team, or not at all?
No, he's number 5, because I think that's his. Even though he's like I talked about a minute ago, they're so good at playing anywhere. These Dublin guys, they're just so smart, all of them. But he is as a 5, you know, that's his spot. If you were picking a team of, when they pick the next team in 100 years' time from the last 100 years, whether it be the team of the Millennium 2, he will be your number 5. 8 All-Ireland medals, and, you know, just unbelievable. Whatever your job you want him to do, whether you want him to be a battering ram, whether you want him to take somebody out of it, whether you want him to go forward and cause havoc, he did it all. He did it all yesterday without even hitting top gear. So he's in at 5, and I have John Small in at number 6, because he's just your perfect tonic for a guy. He's tight, he's aggressive, he's nasty, he's smart. He's literally everything you want in a centre back. He's strong, he's physical, he's aggressive. And went through the last day and had the balls to go for goal and just put it over the bar. But he's been outstanding and really making that 6 jersey his for a long time to come. And, you know, when he needed to go physical against Sean O'Shea and rough him up a bit last year, that's the road he went down, and he can do all them things. And I went from Kieran Brady from Cavan as my other half back. Just couldn't shift John Small out of 6, but I think he was outstanding in the Ulster Championship, really good against Donaghy, and really took the game to the first half when Cavan were only 5 points down to break. But he was a brilliant leader for them all the way back there, and deserves his spot.
Right, so just to recap so far, it's Gallagher in goals, Mullen, Fitzsimons, Murchan, then the half-back line, James McCarthy, John Small, Kieran Brady. Now the 2 in midfield, I think you've already given the game away that it's going to be Thomas Gallagher, and I presume, obviously, everybody knows who's going to be number 8.
Yeah, Fenton, you can't. There's no more that can be said about him. I'm not going to eulogise. I gave my speak in him a number of months ago, and I'll stick by that. And Gallagher, you know, was just
what a story.
Heroic.
Like for a fella not to be in the starting team the first day out, to come away, really.
Well, he was injured. He was injured because I'd been talking to Hugh in the Boar's Head, and he told me about James Smith and Thomas Gallagher to watch out for them coming into the Monaghan game when we were covering it that day. And Gallagher came on and was brilliant. Came on as a kind of a full forward, half forward, one ball inside, one ball outside, won a massive kick out at the end of the game when they really needed it for his cousin to pop over for Raymond to come up and pop over the free. So look, it's, you know, he absolutely deserves it. And what he did in that Ulster final will go down in Cavan Gael's folklore for many more years. And trust me, in 20 and 30 years' time, they'll be talking about this Thomas Gallagher display, like the Braveheart movie, I would say. It'll grow legs, it'll get better, he caught more balls, he kicked more points, it'll be, you know, it'll exaggerate, and it deserves to.
Yeah, it's just a shame that everything was on television and people can find out for themselves if they want. And
there'll be no television in 30 years on. We'll be watching it on our sunglasses or something.
Let's get into the forward. So who lines out at 10, 11, 12?
I've Niall Scully at 10.
Right.
just unbelievable. I did a montage of how Dublin are the best team around at doubling up the ball and when to sniff a double team, and that when they go into the tackle in the double team, it's either a foul or a turnover. They never let you out of that double team. You see a lot of teams get into a double team and the guy can wriggle his way out. If it's anywhere near the sideline, you're dead. But even in the middle of the field, they sniff when a guy is their back to them, that they can chase him down and that defender will hold them up and then the other guy comes in from behind. I did a montage in that for Sky the weekend, and the 5 turnovers Dublin got against Cavan that led to score, Scully was involved in 4 of them. So super smart, super unselfish. His pass to Kilkenny on the outside of the right boot in the first half yesterday was top drawer. His point was brilliant. And just a guy that's really grown into that now, and a guy that's kind of almost now you're looking at him in the Flynn mode. When Flynn came in, he wasn't overly the best kicker in the world, but he was a fantastic athlete and all that. And Scully will only get better as an athlete. They'll keep betting him bigger. They'll keep making him stronger. And if he keeps that unselfish streak and that streak of what he wants to do as a player, when you want to be attacking and defending, it's a huge thing to look at in how smart he was in that role. So I think him as a 10 was a unanimous. I would say I've Con Callahan at 11.
Right.
Desi Farless to get huge credit for what he did with this Dublin team, releasing the narrative down to this is our first year and this is my first year and this is this group's first year, and all that rhetoric that they've put out there since the game. Deep down they'll know they were all going for 6 in a row, but it's nice to have a fresh approach on it, and the management would have been driving that through for obvious reasons. But the move of Con and Kilkenny, who were both on my team where they played mostly this year, is Con at 11 and the other Kilkenny inside. And a switch that if you'd have said to me at the start of the year that we're going to take one of the most lethal full forwards and dynamic players, and a guy that can take you on in a phone box and get out of it before you, you'll be looking at Con at full forward, and then you have the best centre forward in the last 5 years, who's kind of runs the show from centre forward, who gets on ball, who turns over ball, who's doing the point guard, hand up, running the plays, pointing fellas on. He's the best hand passer in the game. Every time he has the ball and he's coming at any of the full forward line, they know they can double back, they know they can come on the loop because they know Kilkenny's pass will find them in their lap. But yeah, Con at 11 has been amazing, coming out, catching kickouts, kicking scores, getting goals yesterday. Like literally, could you play him at number 5 and would he get an all-star at 5? I think he would, like there's no end to him. Could he go out there and be the second midfielder along with Fenton? Yeah, he could. Could he be any one of the forward positions? Absolutely. So look, that kind of versatility in their gameplay is what has them separated at the moment, and where a lot of teams stick to their best guys in their traditional spots. Dublin are really good at using league games and using games to try things, and if they see it working, they're not afraid to change it, and the players are very receptive to being asked to change their role. So Con at 11 was unreal, and I went for Martin O'Reilly from Cavan at in the other half forward spot. Just look, he's their kind of spiritual leader, and I would say probably their smartest guy on the pitch, and that left leg is special, and was never found wanting in any of the big games and the big moments for Cavan this year. He was outstanding if you think about what he was able to do in all those 4 games. So he gets in my other wing forward spot and thoroughly deserves it. And a guy that is 34 now, but really playing good football and able to compete with the best of them.
So Kieran Kilkenny is at 14 then, and who are your corner forwards?
Pretty easy, Killian O'Connor and Conor Sweeney. What Killian O'Connor did in the semi-final is we can't say any more about it. It's spectacular. He was in the best shape he's ever been this year. I think these Mayo boys will come back again next year. They'll shake this one off. I think the lack of crowds, the lack of family members at the game, the lack of being put up on a bus or back of a truck and ferried around a few towns in Mayo to pay homage for the support that was behind them all year. They don't have to do any of that. They look forward. Christmas is in 6 days' time. They'll realise that there's more to life than football when they sit down with their families and realise how lucky they are if they have all their families around them in a healthy manner. And I think they'll shake this off very easily. Not very easily, but they'll shake this off easier than any of the other final traumas that they've had, because that's what they are when you lose one. But I think this one will be shaken off pretty quick. They'll probably be back training in 3 or 4 weeks and looking to improve. But Killian O'Connor 4-9 against Tipperary is mad stuff. And look, yesterday he was really good. He probably was over anxious for the goal, for Con's second goal. He should have been staying at home there. He should have been staying and like Dublin do, getting into that D and just leaving Con, that if he beats somebody, that someone else goes to him, he just pops it over the bar. But he was a bit rash, and but rash through effort and wanting to be better and wanting to get the ball back for his team. And Conor Sweeney on the other side was his point against Limerick in the Gaelic grounds was something that will be remembered for a long time. Outside of the left boot, 40 yards from a tight angle with all the pressure a point down, an amazing kick. And he followed that up with 1-9 against a very good Mayo side. And to be honest with you, if he'd got a few slips from his teammates, he could have had 3 or 4-9. He could have done very similar to what Killian O'Connor did. His performance in the Munster final, he was majestic. He was able to play his game. He was able to stay close to goal. And was able to do everything he wanted to do, get on the ball, get on the loops, win ball into his chest, turn and kick, and led Tipperary to an enormous win on the commemoration day of Bloody Sunday. And he had the jerseys on, and a memory that he'll cherish for the rest of his life, and something that he'll always be able to look back on. And a first Munster in 85 years. He thoroughly deserves his spot on my team and the official All-Star team when it comes. Dean Rock is very unlucky not to make it. I really tried to pick it spot for spot. I didn't want to move guys around to fit other guys in or whatever. Rock was brilliant, but what Killian O'Connor and what Sweeney did was remarkable, and they deserved their spots. And I wasn't going to move Con to 10 and bring Kieran Kilkenny out to centre forward, because I think Kieran Kilkenny deserves the All-Star at 14 with that number on his back, because he was asked to do that role out of nowhere, even though he did it a bit last year against Kerry in the replay. But I think he showed last year in the replay. I think Desi Farrell watching that replay last year was going, this guy's got to play full forward, and we're going to go with it, and we're going to move Con out. And what's going to be terrifying for teams is if they put the two of them in there next to each other full time, because if they strike up an understanding and a partnership, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I heard they have this kid called Brian Howard who might be able to be handy enough under 40 as well, so they might be okay in that department. Don't be calling the other team the official team. This is the official All-Star team. The Off-the-Ball Star team is the official team.
Off-the-Ball Star team, yeah. No, this is my team and this is official to me.
This is the one. This is the one that Kieran Kilkenny will be riding home about, saying this is the All-Star that matters. Just before we get to your Footballer of the Year, the team is Raymond Gallagher in goals, Oisin Mullen, Michael Fitzsimons, Owen Merchant as the full back line. At number 5 is James McCarthy, 6 is John Small, 7 Kieran Brady. The midfield duo, Brian Fenton and Thomas Gallagher. I don't think anybody's going to be able to argue with that. Half forwards, Niall Scully, Conor Callahan, Martin Riley, and then that full forward line again almost picks itself. They were so good this year. Killian O'Connor, Kieran Kilkenny and Conor Sweeney. Now is the time. The official, the Off-the-Ball Star Footballer of the Year, Kieran Donaghy, is...
Yeah, Kieran Kilkenny. Look, as I said, the switch inside to score 120 from play on. And you know what? Yesterday, when Mayo got that equaliser in the 50th minute, Kilkenny just said, no, not today, lads. He did that last year with Kerry. Didn't score in the first game, came out in the second game and, absolutely stormed it in the first half and almost led Dublin to the victory. Catching high ball, showing his physical power, shaking guys off, coming on the right-hand side and looping that ball over, as he's well known to do. But just an overall powerhouse, but all the time doing what's right for the team. If it's right that they need a score, he goes, does that. If it's right that he sets up a goal, he goes and does that. If it's right, he goes foraging for ball, he does that. So, just an all-round and deserves it on the basis of how good he was, the fact that it was a new position, the fact that he relished it, the fact that he was able to be happy with maybe 20 possessions a game rather than 40 possessions in the half-forward line. A lot of fellas that touch a ball a lot in the half-forward line wouldn't overly be happy with the patient role that's needed now for for modern day full forward play. Although it's starting to change with the way teams are pushing up more, I think the forwards are going to have a bit more space to, you know, this sitting blanket. Dublin have got the balance perfect. You know, they had 15 men behind the ball, behind their own half for lots of the game yesterday. But, you know, when they get the chance to push up and push sidelines and turn you over up there, they'll do that too. But as soon as you breach that, they'll go back and they'll get into their help defence and they'll get into their protected D and protect the goals scoring zone, and they're extremely hard to break down.
Kieran, happy Christmas. Great stuff on picking the Off the Ball Star Team of the Year. Thanks a mil.
You too. Thanks a million.
Kieran Donaghy there on the line. Kieran Kilkenny is his Footballer of the Year, hard to argue with much of that. We're turning our attention now to Camogie. We're picking our Camogie Team of the Year. Valerie Wheeler, good morning. How are you keeping?
Good morning. Happy Christmas. How are you?
Happy Christmas indeed. So you've been covering a lot of the Camogie Championship for Off the Ball this year. I understand it was a very difficult task actually condensing this down to 15 of the best players.
Yeah, I actually think to probably be easy, name a firstborn of your child. I found it extremely difficult. It took about 3 or 4 days to try and pin this down without upsetting anybody, but here we are now.
Well, no pressure, but we're going to have the Camogie Player of the Year on the line with us very shortly as well. So, as I say, not a lot of pressure on you to get this absolutely spot on. Let's start in goals. Who have you gone for as your goalkeeper?
Well, it was a tough decision, but I think that I have chosen Sarah Healey of Galway. I mean, she only started in goals at the age of 14, so it's hard to believe that she's playing goalie for an inter-county team and being All-Ireland champions last year. She often plays out forward for her club, and she actually takes the frees for her club. So it was only a couple of years ago when someone decided to throw her in goals one day, and that's where she flourished. And I think she has no fear in the goals because she's so used to being an outfield player that she goes in there with no fear. Look, her puckouts are outstanding and she has serious distance in them. So I have picked Sarah Healey for goals.
So that's one Galway person in there. Let's get on to the full back line then. At cornerback, who have you gone for?
In cornerback, I went with Michelle Tehan, all right? She is a student in DCU. She was a massive key player for them this year in defence. She's really established herself like as a corner wing back. This is her 5th year only playing inter-county, and like her semi-final performance kind of nails her all-star position for me. Like she does the dogged, the hard defence. She does that tough work of getting stuck in there. So I really think that now Michelle does deserve it, but there was a big fight between me picking Shauna Healey of Galway and Michelle, but Michelle tipped her. Right, so Shauna Healey unlucky to miss out there. So who's your other cornerback then? Another cornerback, I would have gone for Davina Tobin at the other side. She is like a lady that doesn't really get much credit. She was on Amy O'Connor in the semi-final, and it was a massive battle between the two of them. Like, it was a great watch. Like, she really was Amy's shadow, and it's always a great day. I mean, if you can keep Amy O'Connor quiet, you really deserve to be in this spot. But she shut down her performance completely. She followed him around, and the hard work paid off. So I've picked Davina Tobin at the other side. It's sometimes pretty easy to identify a great goalkeeper full-back combination. I think that's exactly what you've done here with your all-star selection in terms of the Camogie team. Who have you gone for a full-back? Full-back, I mean, there's no one that there was no one coming to my mind. Like, this woman, I was like, this one's going straight in there. I didn't even fight with anyone over picking her up. She's absolutely solid as a rock in there. I've gone for Sarah Dervin. Like, she's been absolutely flawless as a full-back. Like, she's there over a decade now at this stage. She's 32 years of age. I mean, she's absolutely dynamite in there. I mean, if Sarah Healey in goals, I would feel so secure with having Sarah Dervin in front of me. If I was a goalkeeper, I'd be like, I'm in for a great time here in goals because I have that woman in front of me. So she absolutely owns the position. And I mean, like, she just had a colossal performance this year. So 2 Galway, 2 Kilkenny so far. It's Sarah Healey in goals, Michelle Tehan, Sarah Dervin, Davina Tobin as the full back line. Let's get into the half-back line then. Who's got the number 5 jersey? Number 5 jersey. I was kind of stuck trying to pick who would I put into number 5, and I kind of was between 3 players, but eventually I narrowed it down to 1, and I did pick Hannah Looney of Cork. I just think that Hannah is a dual star, and I think the work that she gives to both football and camogie is outrageous, and she's got such power there in the backs, and I think she's a really key player for them. I mean, she spoke out earlier this year of the struggle she had, and I think it's important that players do that as well, because other players might follow suit if they feel like it's okay that they need to talk to someone. She did, but she's an extremely important and experienced player, even though she's really, really young for Cork. She's 4 All-Ireland camogie medals, and it's just unfortunate that she didn't get that one the weekend for the footballers, but I have gone for Hannah Looney.
Good stuff. And the rest of the half-back line then?
The rest of the half-back line, I have picked in number 6 is Claire Phelan. She is another woman that has serious contribution to that team, and it really, really does go unnoticed. I mean, she led the way in the final for me. She's lethal under a high ball, and I think that she caught a late ball towards the end of the Galway game, and that to me, I was like, you know what, she's just unbelievable in rucks, hooks, blocking. Like, Claire Phelan is your woman that you want in there, so she's got the number 6 jersey.
And then Grace Walsh in at 7?
Of course, Grace Walsh in at 7. I think Grace this year, like, her work rate was outrageous. Like, she got some amount of ball in the final, to be fair to her, and like, she's escaping from COVID-19. I mean, week in, week out on the front line as a nurse, but on the field, I think between her defence and attack, she really gave the perfect performance in the All-Ireland final, and she even got a crucial score. I mean, her teammates have been mocking her for getting a point because they said all year she wasn't getting anything at training, they'd go wide. So they were delighted that she got the score for herself in the final, so she definitely deserves the number 7.
All right, so let's move on to our midfield then. Give us the midfield pairing that you eventually went with.
Aoife O'Donoghue, number 8. There was no one else I'd rather pick either, to be honest. She's been around now since 2014. She made her debut then. I really would love to see the GPA stats off the back of Aoife's jersey, because this is the woman that's absolutely everywhere. I mean, if she gets on a ball and she goes off and run, she's like a cheetah. There's genuinely no catching her. She's small and she's fiery and she's everywhere. And I really think that Aoife would deserve the number 8 for me.
And is it our first tip player, or no, we've got a couple of tip All-Stars, but the first one to announce so far, the other midfielder here?
Yeah, Karen Kennedy. I mean, you could easily put Niamh Kilkenny in there as well. I was stuck between the two of them, but I really think that this year Karen Kennedy came roaring into the inter-county scene. You know, I think she really made a name for herself in the semi-final. She was so brave, so skillful. I mean, she got that late goal from that, really giving the breathing space to get through to the quarter-final. So, I think she's so athletic as well. I think it'd be really unfair if I left her out of the team, because from what I've seen of her this year, being at a few games, you know, she really, really owned that position. And I couldn't have picked anyone else but Karen.
Good stuff. All right, so give us the 3 players in the half-forward line now, Valerie.
Half-forward line, I've gone for Carrie Dolan. She's crucial to the Galway team. And she's also powerful, nippy and skillful. And without Carrie Dolan, to be honest, I think Galway would, to be honest, I'm not going to say without Carrie Dolan they'd be lost, because they wouldn't, because they've plenty of other players, but she is a crucial member of the panel, to be honest. In at number 11, I've gone for stalwart Anne Dalton of Kilkenny. She's been around a while. She could have decided to sit this one out due to COVID and having a family at home and stuff. She's 6 All-Stars already to her name, so I'm delighted to give her another one here. And she gets stuck into it, and there's no messing with Anne. And I think that even when you talk to her after a match, like the last day when she won the semi-final to get in against Cork, I was like, what are you going to do to celebrate? She was like, I'm going away now to get a feed of pancakes. And that's just the woman that
That's how you do it. That's how you do it in the COVID time. Feed of pancakes is absolutely the way to do it. And then at 12, we're going Cork again here, are we?
Yeah, we're going Cork again. I've gone for Amy O'Connor. I know Amy normally wears the number 10 jersey, but I think in order to try and fit some people into my All-Star team, I put it the other side. Her performance, she's just so dangerous in goals. You know, her confidence oozes, and like that's a great thing as well, because she really backs herself. You know, even if there's someone in the better position and Amy decides to go for a goal, and she mightn't be, she will back herself 100%, and she probably will get the goal. She was absolutely tremendous. She's a really disciplined player, and I think Amy deserves that spot. I mean, she got 2-1 in I think it was the quarter-final in horrific conditions, and she's just lethal in goals.
You're spreading the love then in the full forward line. 3 different counties represented here, 13, 14, 15. Who have you gone for?
Right, Beth Carton of Waterford. Beth, she's just dangerous, and her frees are absolutely flawless as well. She got 131 this season alone, so to leave her out of my All-Star team would be absolutely ridiculous. I know they have failed to reach the last 4 over the last few years, and they'll be really disappointed with that, but I think Waterford are really making strides in the camogie world. But Beth Carton, she's dangerous on the edge of the square, and I'd hate to be a backer, I'd hate to be a goalie with Beth Carton coming in on top of me, because she's bound to do something dangerous.
Full forward then.
Full forward, this lady for me, she's, do you know what, it's Denise Gaule. Like, this lady for me really nailed her spot, I suppose, in the All-Ireland final. I think everyone knows now at this stage that penalty Like, the absolute heroity that it took for Denise Gaule to step up and take that penalty and rattle into the battle net. But even I think her composure after the penalty as well, it said a lot about Denise. I don't know if you've seen it, you probably have, but when Denise scored that penalty, you know, she turned around, she's telling everyone, calm down, we still need to go. But she's an amazing free taker. She's monstrous frees. I mean, she can do it long, she can do it short. There's nothing that Denise Gaule can do, and I think she deserved it. She deserves the 14 jersey.
And then finally, before we actually announce your player of the year, who is number 15 going to?
I have given it to Cotavan of Tipperary, another Tip woman. She's joining Karen Kennedy in my all-star team. Tip were beaten, I suppose, at the final hurdle, maybe, last year and this year. And I think large parts of the game, Tipperary are on top, and I think it's really due to Cotavan and her performance. She's just amazing. I think everyone remembers this year of her club viral video that went viral in the club scene when she did the hurley switch. It was just unfortunate that she didn't get the point. We're still mocking her over not getting the point over the bar, but Cotavan, she's amazing, and her first touch is absolutely ridiculous, so that's why she's in there.
Now to very serious business. I'll just recap the team before we do it. Sarah Healy in goals, Michelle Tehan, Sarah Dervin, Davina Tobin is the full back line, Hannah Looney, Claire Phelan, Grace Walsh in the half backs, Aoife Donaghy, Karen Kennedy is your midfield. The forwards then, at number 10 we have Carrie Dolan, Anne Dawson at 11, and at 12 Amy O'Connor, and then Beth Carton, as you say, of Waterford at 13, Denise Gaule of Kilkenny, number 14, and the other corner forward is Cotavan of Tipperary. Which of those 15 players was the best Camogie player on show this year, Valerie?
To me, there's only one woman that stands out, and I don't think anyone will be upset with me or disappointed when I pick this lady, but 337 in 5 championship matches, and who I'm picking as my player of the year is Kilkenny's Denise Gaule.
And we're delighted to say good morning to Denise Gaule and congratulations to Denise Gaule. Fair play, you are the off-the-ball star Camogie player of the year. How does it feel to capture this and add this to your slew of medals you won this year?
Well, how's it going? Thanks for having me on anyway. Sure, look, it's good, I suppose. It's nice one to add, but sure, look, once we won the match at the end of the day, it was the biggest thing for us, but sure, I suppose can't complain either, and after a good year, so.
Valerie touched on the penalty really well there. There are two different elements to it. It's the penalty itself and what happens immediately afterwards. On the penalty itself, how many times did you hit that exact shot in training in the weeks leading up to the match?
Oh, God, I don't know, I was saying after the match, the Thursday evening, I had an absolute mare on the penalties there, and I just left. I was like, I just nearly hoping we wouldn't get one in the match. But no, look, I suppose when you're practicing them, you'll be trying every angle out, and look, on the day, I just kind of noticed that Sarah's holding the hurl one way and just said, I'll just go the other, and hopefully, I'd say I'll never hit a better one again, but sure, look, I'll take that anyway.
There was like a beautiful technique on it, almost like a golfer approaching a dog leg off a tee box just to keep it away from the goalkeeper. It was as much the swerve on it as much as the clean hit it felt. Yeah,
I suppose if I'm left-handed, it probably would be easier to go across the body, say the other side. But, look, I just said, look, I'll go that way now. I usually would go the other way now, not giving away anything, but I just said, look, I'll give it a lash now, down the left, and hope, please God. I was never so happy to see something hitting the back of the net anyway, so.
Yeah, and then, sorry, go ahead, Valerie.
Denise, I mean, plenty of heartache over the last few years, and you've had a chance maybe to now reflect back on what you have achieved, and it's probably difficult that you weren't able to celebrate much together over it.
Yeah, I suppose, look, everyone knows what happened in the last few finals or that, but look, I don't know, this year was just another year, especially with everything going on, just to be able to go out and play at the end of the day was the biggest thing. And it's nice after the few days when it kind of settles down and you're at home with the family and you're kind of just thinking back on the match, or you're just sending a few WhatsApps to the girls and just catching up, and I don't know, sure, everyone's just on a pure high now, and it'd be great over the Christmas as well, something extra, so it's brilliant, yeah.
And how special is that after the disappointment of the last few years, especially for everyone in the Kilkenny camp, to finally get back there again and to go into a winter with something joyous to celebrate?
Oh yeah, geez, definitely. I suppose there's a lot of us there who would have, I think we're at about 7 losses now, a few of us who were there since 2009, so it's not nice either, but look, every year is just different. You have different girls coming in and out, and just take every year, I don't know, sometimes we don't really think about it as much maybe as what's made of it, but look, I suppose you're just privileged to go out every day and represent your county, like, so whether you win or not, like, and obviously it's always a bonus when you do get to win. So.
Well, many congratulations once again, Denise. Happy Christmas to you, and hopefully you get to enjoy this for a little while longer.
Thanks a million. Same to you, lads.
Cheers, Denise. Thanks for taking the call. Fair play, Valerie. Great stuff on picking the team. How many of those decisions were nip and tuck, and how many of those have you agonised over?
I probably will agonise over Michelle Tehan and Shauna Healy. I think that's probably someone who I will probably regret leaving out. I think someone else that's probably was fortunate to miss out the team would be Niamh Rockett. She had some amazing goals this year. I don't know if you've seen the goals, but I had maybe Chloe Morey of Clare as well. I just think if Clare maybe got that bit further in the championship, we saw a bit more of Chloe. I'd have loved to have been able to include her, but look, I could be here all day saying I'd love to include this person, that person. So I'm actually really happy with the team I've chosen, so no hate, please.
How confident are you of this Kilkenny team going on to perhaps do the same thing again next year? There's been a lot of talk about the quick turnaround now between All-Irelands, and maybe in the context of last weekend how it might be a good thing for Mayo to get back on the horse. On the opposite side of things, this Kilkenny team finally getting back to winning one, it kind of feels like there's a hunger about that, and they should be the front runners to try and do it again next year.
Definitely. I think you're spot on, Owen, with saying that, like, I think the quick turnaround will really, really suit Kilkenny, you know, and especially when you don't have the chance to be celebrating and going out every night of the week, you know, now you can't. So you're probably going to be, you know, keeping a low profile over the next couple of weeks because of COVID. So I think they'll be more hungry to go on and do more. As, like Denise said, there are years and years of heartbreak. She's 7 or 8 defeats. I mean, that is crazy. And for them to keep coming back and get to the final stage, I mean, that series shows amazing character of part of the team. So I think themselves and Galway will be fairly up there again next year, but we won't write off Cork either one.
No, absolutely not. But what's the feeling in Cork? I mean, it's not just the double that's doable anymore. There needs to be the quadruple next year, or at some point down the line, surely.
I know. I thought the ladies' football would get us over the line on Sunday, but unfortunately they didn't. It's been a disastrous year for Cork. But look, hopefully next year will be a bit better. As a Cork supporter, we'll hang in there.
We were doing our awards earlier on, and we were kind of picking the No Football is Grand Award of the Year, and I can't even remember who Gerard gave it to in the end. He gave it to Cavan winning Ulster. I'm sure you would have picked Cork beating Kerry and Munster, though, as the moment that saved football this year, in men's football anyway.
To be honest, Owen, I probably would have picked Tip winning the Munster final. I know as a Cork person I would have loved to pick it, but if you actually sat back and look at the game, I think when Cork went on and didn't do much after that game, I think it really squished all me picking. If maybe Cork went on and won the Munster final, maybe I would have been like, that was a huge game. Sure. But when they went on and didn't push forward, I think I would pick Tipperary winning.
Well, listen, all the best for 2021 on behalf of all of us, towards everybody in Cork, because sure, we love Cork here. Maybe the quadruple will happen, and fair play in picking the team. Valerie, cheers.
Thanks, Emil. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas to you too. You are watching this Christmas Eve special. It is the Off the Ball Stars on OTBAM, which is live in association with Gillette. Good morning. Start with Gillette, giving you the confidence to tackle the day ahead. So, one Kilkenny woman on the line there. We're going to Kilkenny man now, and Tommy Welsh. How are you getting on, Tommy?
Yeah, good on. Looking forward to the Christmas.
Yeah, same as. So, the hurling team of the year, do you go through this and just say to yourself which Limerick man gets into each position, or was it a far more democratic process where there was a lot of other good individual performers outside of the champions?
Yeah, there was plenty of other good performances on, but I think it was dominated by Limerick when the All-Ireland champions win so many matches so convincingly. Like they beat Tipperary, the 2019 All-Ireland champions, be 6 points, and probably looked a lot more comfortable in that back earlier on a couple of weeks ago. And then to go on and win the final, be 11 points. It just shows their domination. The closest match they got was the Galway match. Even though they never looked like losing it, it was still a draw match 70 minutes in. So, listen, they didn't have it all their own way, but my team of the year will be dominated by Limerick men, yes.
Is it Nikki Quaid in goals then? We may as well start off. Who is your goalkeeper?
Yeah, so goalkeeper Nikki Quaid. It was between himself and Socky, Stephen O'Keefe from Watford. I suppose the huge saves that Stephen O'Keefe made in the All-Ireland final put him into contention big time. And, you know, like if Limerick had got the goals at that stage, it could have been an absolute whitewash. Because if you score 2 goals in the space of a couple of minutes, you know, we've seen that happening to Waterford before, and to happen to any team. It's a cruel blow, especially when the team is already a couple of points ahead. But no, Nikki Quaid is the man. I thought He conceded 3 goals on in his first 2 matches, 1 against Clare and 2 against Tipperary. Didn't concede another goal for the remainder of the championship. That tells its own story. The modern goalkeeper is not just about saving the ball. It's about puck outs. It's about leadership, safety. Like, no matter what happens, Nikki Quaid is up for it. In the final, he made a couple of saves, 4 or 5 saves. There were kind of half goal chances for Waterford. He wasn't diving all around the goal post or anything like that to make these saves. But he was, dude. He was assured. He was, like, the stories are that he turns up an hour before training 3 nights a week to get in his goalkeeping moves. And you can see that by his feet. Like, he's always seems to be in the right place at the right time. A goalkeeper, one of the most important thing is that you get your body behind the ball if you can at all. And that's what he does and did, especially in the final. So Nikki Quaid, for me, has been brilliant for the last couple of years and is probably the leader of that Limerick team.
Yeah, truly deserving of that position. Who's in at cornerback, so Tommy, if we get into the full back line?
So he's my first nomination for Hurler of the Year as well. He's been absolutely outstanding. He's going for his 3rd All-Star in a row. The cornerback, like, sometimes you put all your best men up the centre, and you will always see with All-Ireland champions, they will have brilliant men up the centre. But cornerback in the modern game, with the quality of ball coming into the full forward line, is exceptional now. You need really good cornerbacks, and if you don't, your year can be short-lived. So Sean Finn, for me, he's been brilliant. He's been consistent. When the ball comes in high or low, he's able to win it. He marks all the top players, and there's no problem to him. He lost his comrades Richie English and Mike Casey at the start of the year. You thought this will definitely damage Limerick's chances of maybe convincingly winning this All-Ireland. But no, this man stepped up day after day. So Sean Finn, for me, is the right cornerback.
How much was that you as well, Tommy, trying to actually step up and take the strongest man on the opposition team? Like, I mean, as you mentioned, the injuries were a big thing. I'm not sure how many inter-county hurlers would actually shy away from that, but I'm sure there's sometimes a tendency to say, I'll take an easy day out here, but Finn never seems to be that guy.
Yeah, and maybe the pressure can get to you because when Richie English and Mike Casey, when they did, I suppose, bow out through injury and that, you wonder, like, the whole country was talking about Sean Finn then. Can Sean Finn keep it together? And sometimes that can maybe, it can probably affect your performances, but it seemed to affect his performances in all the right ways. You talk about the greats of the game back in the full back line, the Mick Kavanaghs, the Ollie Cannings, Jackie Turles, all great men, Paul Murphy in the full back line, but this man is up there with him. He never seems to have a 6 or a 7 out of 10 performance. It's always a 9 out of 10. You ask the question, is it hard to pick up the best men? It is now. Because you go back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when you got the ball in the back line, it was just struck up. So you just read the game like that. But now the ball is coming in perfect. So you have to be able to not just be out in front of your man, which Sean Finn often is. You have to be able to defend as well. So when your opponent does get the ball, shadow him out, keep him out to the wings. And I suppose, Sean Finn is in that full back line. They didn't concede a goal in the Munster final, All-Ireland semi-final or All-Ireland final. That tells its own story on.
Who's that full back, Tommy?
Full back, so who do you put in here really? Is it Dan Morrissey? Is it Donaghy Burke? I've Donaghy Burke put in full back. He's the best full back in the game. Absolutely outstanding. He's already a legend. In my book, he's there with the Brian Lohans, the Dermot O'Sullivans. He's like Jackie Turles showed in the Sunday game after the All-Ireland final, his catch going backwards. Like, it's only the special players can do that. So he was running backwards and was able to turn in mid-air and catch the ball towards his own goal. It was an amazing skill and he made it look simple. Last 20 minutes, I felt, when the game was in the balance against Tipperary down in the Gaelic grounds, Donaghy Burke, after, he slipped for the first goal that Seamus Callan got, lesser players would let that affect them and maybe, go on to have a 6 out of 10 performance. He just kept at it. And when it really mattered for Galway in the last 20 minutes, he was the guy that sold it up for that. The time Cathal Barrett got sent off, it was Donaghy Burke sold it up from full back to create that chance. And I thought he was just a colossus. He was injured for the Wexford game, but after that he could be man of the match in every single game.
Right, so we've got Sean Finn, Donaghy Burke, 2 of the 3 in the full back line. Who's wearing the number 4 jersey in your team? Yeah,
so I'm going to move over Dan Morrissey there. So no, right. I'm not going to leave out Dan. It was between himself and Barry Nash, to be honest. I thought Barry Nash had an outstanding year as well. But no, Dan Morrissey, he's from the hand club. they've produced such brilliant brothers going back to the 1920s. You have the Mackeys, Mick Mackey and John Mackey. You have the Moran, Ollie Moran, Niall Moran, and now you have the two Morrissey brothers. Like a hand can be proud of they've produced greats since the early parts of the century. I don't think they had a player on the panel for the 1973 All Ireland, but they've more than made up for it now. Dan Morrissey came back from the wing back position, not like from playing in the wing. You have the freedom, play the ball from the front. But when you go back to full back, you have to be that bit more conservative on. So you can't always play from the front. Yes, maybe 8 or 9 times out of 10 you go for it, but there is that one time where you have to make that decision. No, possibly now it's better let the full forward take the opportunity to score a point than going out in front, taking the risk, and a goal goes in. So I thought Dan Morrissey had a really, really good year, and I think that the younger players do look up to him. He is, while he's still quite young, he's one of the older guys on that team, and I thought his leadership, his strength, and he made a great intervention in the final as well.
Brilliant stuff. So Dan Morrissey is in at corner back there as well. Let's move on to the half-back line then, Tommy. Your own position here. Who have you gone for? We'll start at wing-back, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll start at number 5, Dermot Burns. I'm not sure if he got the All-Star 2 years ago, but definitely deserves one this year. All the talk coming up to the final was the aerial ability of Waterford after the defeat of Kilkenny in the All-Ireland semi-final. They ruled the skies, they won the air, one of the first battlegrounds that you have to win to become a serious team, to become All-Ireland contenders. First ball came down between Dermot Burns and his Waterford opponent. He caught the ball, and you could see, if you go back and look at the video, he knew what it meant. His team knew what it meant, because it meant, I'm not going to be pushed around here today. Waterford, they're not going to rule the skies here today. This is our year. We're going to win 2 All-Irelands in 3 years. Like, I was looking at his scores as well on. He scored 3. This is a wing back now, would you mind? 12 points in total. 3 points versus Clare in the quarter final. 3 points versus Tipperary in the Munster semi-final. 2 points in the Munster final, 3 points against Galway in the All-Ireland semi-final, and a point in the final. 12 points in total. So, that man more than deserves his place on the team.
Yeah, you've made a very, very strong case there. Centre-back then, Tommy?
Centre-back then is Tadhg de Borca. Arguably the best number 6 in the game right now. His injury after 20 minutes in the final was just cruel. It was absolutely cruel for any neutral GA follower, for any Waterford hurling follower, for any of them people on that Waterford backroom team. They knew what Tadhg did to come back from the other cruciate injury. If there was no pandemic this year, he probably would not have made it. He wouldn't have been back in time. Suddenly, in comes COVID-19. Tadhg de Borca gets an extra couple of weeks, an extra couple of months to make us come back. Comes back better than ever. That's always the worry you have about the cruciate guys. Ray Keane did his cruciate, Henry Shefflin did his cruciate. So many players have done it, and some of them have come back better than ever, others haven't. And he's one of the lucky ones. He came back better than ever and was having an outstanding year. And I thought a true mark of Tadhg de Borca was when he went down, you could see the heartbreak in his face, right? Kind of behind, I suppose, his face. You could probably see it in his eyes. And after about 20 seconds, he just jumped up and said, you know what? The 20 minutes gone in the All-Ireland final. This is not about me. This is about Waterford trying to get over the line here. I'm going to get up and just show these guys that let's get on with it. Let's bring in a sub and let's get on with it and win this All-Ireland final. He trotted over. And how hard would that have been? And, it was a measure of the man. And I thought his performances. What's the best thing about Tadhg de Borca? The skies. When they say Waterford win in the skies, you're usually talking about that guy. He can win it going forward. He can win it actually trotting back, which is very difficult to do. So, yeah, Tadhg de Borca, number 6.
Brilliant. So, de Borca at number 6. Is your All-Star team playing a sweeper, Tommy?
What do you think?
I think that question doesn't need to be answered. At number 7, then, your other wing back, Tommy, who's going in here?
Yeah, he was Young Hurler of the Year in 2018. Usually we are looking at where do you pick him in the forward line. Kyle Hayes, 6'4". He gave one of the best first half performances in an All-Ireland final that I have seen. It's a new way of playing when you're playing wing back. So the half forward line now, they tend to go back helping out their defence. So if the wing back kind of stays in his position, yes, he can mop up some ball, but Kyle Hayes went the other way. He said, let's take them on, let's attack him. And yeah, he went forward, and you know, it would have been an outstanding goal, one of the great All-Ireland final goals, if he happened to bounce that off the ground. Possibly, you know, the chance he got in the All-Ireland final was from playing so much in defence this year. Usually when a forward gets that ball, you know, maybe 10 yards out from goal, he'll bounce the ball off the ground, or he'll keep it away from the goalkeepers. His strong side will say that he can save the ball, but no, he hit it, and Stephen O'Keefe made a great save. But Kyle Hayes was outstanding all year, and the question mark was, why would you put back one of the best centre forwards in the game, wing back, when he went back against Tipperary? But that just showed how Limerick, how good they're able to adapt. And what he did was, as well, he put up a wall outside of that full back line on. As we know, Richie English, Mike Casey, two of the top players in the country, missing this year. Two new guys gone back that aren't not just new guys, but guys that aren't used to playing the full back line.
But do you think you would have seen Kyle Hayes back there regardless of the fitness, or was that a reaction to, I guess, Morrissey maybe going back a bit further as a result of the injuries, and Kyle Hayes having to fill back then in the half-back line? Was that the reason?
Yeah, I bet me house on it that he went back to it was just unknown, that full back line. You had Barry Nash, right, who wasn't on the team 2 years ago. He's played, you know, I think he was man of the match in an under-21 All-Ireland final corner forward. An outstanding underage player who couldn't break into the team as a forward. So suddenly last year he was back wing back and had a great campaign. This year then you're asking, a forward to go back corner back. Yeah. It's a huge transition, and, you know, deserves huge respect for being able to do that. And Dan Morrissey was tried full back a couple of years ago, and, you know, didn't remain there. He to me, he would have been, when he went out wing back, he was just that strong wing back who didn't let the ball go past him, but I never saw him as a full back. And so this is before kind of, you know, the year really got going. So maybe John Kiley, Paul Kinnerka and co were thinking along those lines. Let's give them as much support as we possibly can, and it proved very fruitful.
Absolutely. And I mean, that crisis certainly didn't go to waste for them, the injuries in the full back line. They're now in a much better, more versatile position for next year as well. So just to recap where we're at the moment, Nikki Quaid is your goalkeeper, a full back line of Sean Finn, Dahi Burke and Dan Morrissey, and then the half backs are Diarmuid Burns, Ty de Burka and Kyle Hayes. What's your midfield, Tommy?
Midfield then, so we've the wizard himself out, Cian Lynch, midfield. I know he kind of played between the lines. He was midfield in some games, he was centre forward in others, but I think, you know, he's the top midfielder in the country at the moment. What I love about Cian Lynch, reminds me of Richie Power. He could go on and be the star every day and pop over pints upon pints upon pints, but no, he always picks out the man in the best position. He's not looking for the headlines of a Monday morning in the newspapers or in the Sunday game that night. He's not looking to pick up man of the match awards. He will absolutely blitz you with sublime skill. We've seen on the Sunday game, All-Ireland final night, the top moments of the year, that lovely little flick, if you remember, Cian Lynch did in the middle of the field in a big game earlier on there. Wonderful. We never see players trying things like that, but he doesn't do it as showboating. He does it as part of the skills that are in his armoury. And yeah, I've great time for this guy. He's probably the only real guy that goes forward with that eye for goal. Most of the guys, when they go past, we'll say midfield, or go past the half-back line on, they will hit the ball over the bar. And that's why you'll often see him scoring 29, 30, 31 points. But when Cian Lynch breaks that line, there's goal on his mind. He set up a great chance he nearly scored himself, set up one for Kyle Hayes. The rebound, that would have been a magical goal, you know. He's like the Brazil players in the 70s. Like, he's just wonderful to watch and a wonderful entertainer, but the right way. And with the ultimate respect for his opponents, that double. Then he had another chance where he soloed through. He had a beautiful flick down. It was a hand pass into him out around 40 yards underneath the Cusack stand in the final. And very difficult ball to bring down. He made it look easy, went in, and just the pass didn't work out at the end. I think Ty de Burka came back and intercepted it at the very end, but another goal chance. So Cian Lynch for me anyway, midfield.
Good stuff. So Cian Lynch, one midfielder. Who's in beside him, so? Yeah,
so this one I've gone for Tony Kelly. My other nomination for Hurler of the Year. He scored 17 points, I see here, against Limerick, the All-Ireland champions. 8 of them from play. Kind of playing between the lines. He's corner forward, centre forward, midfield. He's kind of given a free role, really. And this is in the year that they were missing so many of their marquee players. Peter Duggan missing, John Conlon missing, Colm Galvin missing, Niall Deasy missing, you know, and so many more. So when all their top players, no one, especially I wasn't giving them a prayer, you know, to have any chance in this All-Ireland Championship or to make any impact at all. But Tony Kelly made sure that they did, and he lit up it wasn't the summer, he lit up the winter this year, in fairness to him. And I think he earned huge admirers all year round. A small guy, do you know what? And a big shout out to the small guys as well, because, you know, in the year of Limerick, and they're so, you know, you have 2 or 3 guys over 6'4". I think 13 of the team are over 6 foot. And they're saying, is it all about strength? But this is to the young players, the 10-year-olds, the 12-year-olds. You don't have to be big to be one of the top hurlers in the country. You don't have to be big to score 17 points from play. Get out against the wall, get out and play 3-on-3 in your backyard, and get down to the field every day you can. And you can be like Tony Kelly. So fair play to Tony, and great year.
Yeah, the Messi of hurling?
The Messi of hurling, I wouldn't call him the Messi of hurling. I think he's more, I would say more Ronaldo than Messi.
Right.
Owen, for the simple reason is like Messi just does these magical things that he can basically do anything with the ball. Tony Kelly's more like Ronaldo, where he just spends hours upon hours, I'd say, practicing. So his shooting is off the charts, especially on that left hand. His running, his fitness, his power, as opposed to, you know, the mind-dazzling skill that Messi brings. I'd nearly more compare maybe Keane Lynch to a Messi-type player, right, and Tony Kelly to Ronaldo.
So we've got Messi and Ronaldo in midfield. So we've got Keane Lynch at 8, Tony Kelly at 10. What a team.
Not bad. I hope they get on well.
Let's get into the half forwards then. Who have you gone for?
So wing forward, I think the half forward line probably speaks for itself and probably picks itself. Gerard Hegarty. My next nomination for hurler of the year. I have 4 nominations actually for hurler of the year. So Gerard Hegarty, 7 points from play in the final. He scored 5 versus Clare in the first game, 4 versus Galway in the All-Ireland semi-final. Brilliant. I think he was the top scorer from play in the All-Ireland Championship. Gerard Hegarty, you know, they say he plays on the edge. I don't think so. I think he plays the way the game should be played, and that's when the ball is there, he goes to win it. And if that's putting in his hurl with the risk of, you know, it could be left in, and, you know, it's just the game moves so fast. I know watching on television, there's so many cameras now, you don't appreciate the speed of this game. You don't appreciate how things change in the split second. I think he's a role model to the way that the game should be played. He gives it absolutely everything. This is a former footballer, would you believe? He mightn't even be playing hurling at the moment. So Gerard Hegarty, I thought, you know, when any game was there to be won for Limerick this year, he was there. And the one thing you'd have to, I suppose, say about him this year is everybody knew what he was going to do. He tips out to midfield, wins the ball, goes up and puts the ball over the bar. So it's not as if he was, you know, doing things that people weren't expecting. He was doing the same thing that he's been doing for the last couple of years, and he still couldn't be stopped. That's the sign of the top players. So Gerard Hegarty, number 10.
Who's your centre forward, Tommy?
Centre forward, TJ Reid. I think TJ this year, before the senior inter-county championship kicked on, we were looking at the club championship, and Ballyhale seemed to be on it quite a bit, and it was a blessing really, because it gave the viewers more chance to see TJ Reid in club action. We all see him in inter-county action, but even in club action, he was mesmerising. Make the ball talk. He's more your Messi type of player as well. So we've Messi centre forward as well. But outstanding, and I think he's after elevating himself up to the same level as Henry Shefflin, the same level as Eddie Kerr, the same level as DJ in the Kilkenny greats. You know, the question for the last couple of years is, would you put TJ up there? I think there's no doubt about it now he's up there. And probably doing it, you know, with not the, you know, the back lines, you know, there's not the same amount of space there anymore, where he can get into these 1v1 situations, which a forward wants. He's able to do it when he's being double marked, triple marked. And I think, you know, he's probably the best guy ever to field the ball in the air. I'm not trying to throw out these. I don't throw out these. I do think about saying these things before coming on air. So I don't throw out these comparisons or these statements, you know, off the top of my head. I truly think, like, JJ Delaney to me was the greatest in the air that I remember playing or played with. But I think this guy is now the top man for the simple reason is he can catch the ball as a forward, much more difficult to do because there's a man behind you and he can play your hurl, play your hand or one. He's still able to catch it. So TJ Reid, yeah, number 11.
Right. Is that just like hang time? Is it like the height of his jump? Is the strength in the air? Like what constitutes, what are you looking for when you're looking at somebody who's really good in the air?
Yeah, it's timing, it's strength. So to be able to catch it when you're a forward, so your man is behind you. So he's either going to play your hand, play your hurl, he's going to jump in on top of you. So you need to time it to perfection, because if you stand there underneath that ball on, it's easy pickings for the wing back. So if you see most of the balls he's catching now, he's nearly jumping. So he's timing that to perfection, so that I think it was Christy Ring said when he was asked for a tip on catching the ball, you have to catch the ball at its highest point. The reason for it is when you catch it up there, very little chance for a defender to put you off. You need strength, so you need years in the gym. He is 6'2", so it gives him that advantage to catch it when there's a guy behind him. But it's just an overall brilliance in the air. There's so many aspects to it.
Who's your other wing forward?
Again, a cert for me, Tom Morrissey. Joe Malloy calls himself and Gerard Hegarty the Bash Brothers, and I love it. It is what they are, but they're able to score as well. Like looking at his scores, 4 points versus Clare in the first match, 5 in the final versus Waterford, the All-Ireland final, and set up probably 4 or 5 more as well. And he scored 6 in the semi-final against Galway. Tom Morrissey. It all started for me 2018 All-Ireland quarter-final, Limerick versus Kilkenny. Limerick hadn't beaten Kilkenny in quite some time. I'd say possibly hadn't beaten them maybe since the 73 All-Ireland. And so it was kind of, the big bad, ugly bear Kilkenny there just couldn't get past them. But that day, Richie Hogan scored a goal and it looked like Kilkenny won it. Outfox Limerick again. Up stepped Tom Morrissey, and he was brilliant in that last couple of minutes. And I think from there on, he's just become, the Tom Morrissey we all know now. He had a quite Munster final, was taken off, and you see his interviews before the All-Ireland final, very disappointed, very, very annoyed with himself. Always a sign of the elite players, and came on then All-Ireland semi-final, All-Ireland final, just magic. Like to score 6 points and 5 points is unbelievable stuff at that time of the year.
Yeah, ridiculously good. So of the full forward line then, we'll kick this off at number 13. Tommy, who have you gone for?
13, Aaron Gillane. He is their go-to man inside. I don't think they will be able to play the way they're playing at the moment without Gillane inside and his quality of movement. So Graham Mulcahy, he kind of is given a free role. He kind of goes out around the half-hour line, midfield, full forward line, given his own little, they trust Graham Mulcahy that he'll make the right decisions. And that's why you'll often see him putting in quality hooks or quantity blocks at the right time. But it leaves Gillane inside with either Seamus Flanagan or Peter Casey. For the final this year, it was Seamus Flanagan. So in general, Flanagan will be more get the ball into him. He'll win it with his strength, his first touch, his height. But with Gillane, it's all about movement. And so he's going one way, then he's gone the other. So he has to time it to perfection because he's not the fastest guy in the world, and he has to be out in front of his man. And I thought he was brilliant. He scored, an injury worry coming into the final, a big doubt. Their free taker, their talisman, and he scored 4 points from play, 10 points in total. And he scored 2-6 against Tipperary, and which was probably the defining game of the season. We look back now at Limerick and we think, they had a handy run through all their games. That's that Munster semi-final against Tipperary. It was played in a monsoon. There was a serious wind, and if he hadn't have got those important goals, it could have been a much more different. There could be a much different outcome. And yeah, I would give him huge respect and fair play to him. He's my number 13.
Full forward then, Tommy.
Full forward then is Stephen Bennett. Yeah, again, he was the man in the semi-final against Kilkenny. He set up the goal that won it for him. He scored another goal himself in the air. He plays much like Gillane, really. He's kind of moving all the time. I thought his leadership as well, Paragon Matney was injured before the first game. Went over in a challenge game just before the Munster Championship kicked off, and everyone wrote off Waterford's chances straight away because Pádraig Matney is always a 10 or a 12 pointer guaranteed every day. Stephen Bennett stepped up, but it was from play and from frees. So Bennett, to me, was one of the main reasons Waterford got to that All-Ireland final, through his leadership and his play. And he doesn't just tap the ball over anymore. He's the guy, he'll go for a goal if it's on. And he's number 14.
And then let's finish it off. Tommy, who's in at corner forward?
So number 15, Desi Hutchinson. You know, the former Brighton player, the soccer player. We've seen what he could do with Ballygunner when he came on the scene in the last 2 years. Well, he backed that up this year. His performance against Clare was probably showcased the quality that maybe could lift Liam McCarthy Cup for Watford. You know, the goal here, he turned on a sixpence. He was just gone. Next minute, ball in the back of the net. The next one he set up for Jack Fagan. It looked like he was being drowned out by the Clare defenders. And I don't know how he even see it. He must have eyes in the back of his head, straight across to Jack Fagan, and the ball buried. And the other goal then, you see Solskjaer, they used to play for Manchester United, Van Nistelrooy. These guys always in the right place at the right time. It's not all about, running 100 yards. It's about using your head. Where is this ball going to land? So when that ball came across the goal, he was there standing, not in the square, right on the line, and just tapped the ball into the net. So, Clare really could have caused an upset that day. And Desi, he in the first game against Clare, he scored 3 points. He scored 2 points in most other games. I thought in the final, even though he didn't score a whole lot, the ball coming into the Waterford full forward line was poor. And I thought he worked his socks off. He never stopped going and was always there out in front looking for the ball. So Desi Hutchinson, to me, number 15.
It's a strong-looking team, Tommy, I'm not going to lie. Nikki Quaid in goals, full back line of Sean Finn, Dahi Burke, Dan Morrissey. Half back line, Diarmuid Burns, Ty DeBurka, Kyle Hayes, Cian Lynch and Tony Kelly in midfield. Gerard Hegarty, TJ Reid and Tom Morrissey is your man mountains of a half-forward line. Aaron Gillan, Stephen Bennett and Desi Hutchinson complete the team. You were watching or listening to Tommy Walsh's Team of the Year. This is OTBAM and it's live in association with Gillette. Good morning, start with Gillette, giving you the confidence to tackle the day ahead. So you said your nominees so far for Hurler of the Year are Quaid, Tony Kelly, Gerard Hegarty. Was there a fourth nominee?
Yeah, no, it is Sean Finn.
Sean Finn, sorry.
Sean Finn, yeah. Tony Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Hayes. And Gerard Hegarty.
Sorry, right, okay. So Hayes, Kelly, Hegarty or Sean Finn. Which of those four will be crowned as Tommy Walsh's Hurler of the Year?
So, crowned, I narrowed it down to 2. Kyle Hayes and Gerard Hegarty. The defender in me wanted to give it to Kyle Hayes.
Sure, he's a forward anyway.
He is a forward anyway. We never see the defenders, rarely see the defenders winning these awards. But listen, you can't look past a man that scores 7 points in an All-Ireland final, 4 points in an All-Ireland semi-final. The guy that was tipped for Hurler of the Year before the All-Ireland final, all the pressure on him. Everybody knows the way he plays the game. Everyone said there's a way of stopping him. Let's stop Gerard Hegarty and we'll stop Limerick, and they still couldn't do it. The man was, as you said a minute ago, a man mountain, and fully deservingly, I think, of Hurler of the Year. So Gerard Hegarty for me.
Absolutely, great pick, Tommy. Tommy, thanks again. Happy Christmas to you. And your one prediction for 2021, are Kilkenny going to be back? They're the one team who look like they can beat Limerick.
Yeah, sure, listen, I don't know. We hope, I can't see any retirements. It's going to go into a new year straight away. So they're in the All-Ireland semi-final. What was it, 9 or 10 points up there at one stage. So, I'll give them every chance.
All right, Tommy, happy Christmas. Take care.
Thanks, Owen. Same to you. Thank you.
Tommy Walsh there on the line. This is the Off the Ball Stars. We do this every year. This is, I think, our 3rd or 4th year of doing this. We've picked all bar one of our teams. We're getting to the LGFA Team of the Year. Aisling O'Reilly, how are things?
Hey, Owen, how are you?
Very well. So you've had the least amount of time to actually mull over this. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of forgiveness out there if anything goes wrong. But I think you've got things spot on. Will we get straight into it? You've picked your football Team of the Year. Your goalkeeper, Aisling, who have you gone for?
Yes, so number 1, I went for Ciara Trent for Dublin. She's just been a stalwart for Dublin over the last number of years. She's very vocal from the back, a great leader, really steadies the ship, and she's always reliable, very consistent. So a very important person in that Dublin team that sometimes mightn't get the credit that she deserves.
Do we know how many different kick-out routines that they have? Because you'd spot her put up the hand saying 5, and that would be the name of a kick-out routine. That's something that she seems to have taken to a whole new level over the past couple of seasons.
Yeah, she's really evolving the goalkeeper role in ladies football, I feel. And I think other teams are then developing on that. So I think that's why I picked her today, because really for what she's done for the game. And I'm sure with the background team and goalkeeper coaches and whatever that's working with her has really pushed her on. But the talent she has is just immense.
All right, so Ciara Trant is the goalkeeper. Who have you gone for a cornerback, first of all?
Cornerback, I went for Melissa Duggan for Cork. The way I describe Melissa is a terrier, just very nippy. I love to see a cornerback getting up and down the pitch, getting the scores, and that's what she did this year. You need serious fitness for a role like that, and I think she has that and more, and she had a super All-Ireland final, just a brilliant player to watch.
Fullback then?
Fullback, I went for Niamh Collins for Dublin, rock solid in the full back line for Dublin. She sometimes can go unnoticed as well. I suppose in a team like Dublin, when you have the big names, you know, she mightn't get all that credit, but she's been brilliant for them over the last number of years. Coming from the great Foxrock Camogie club, and we've seen her make crucial interceptions time and time again. So she's well deserved in that full back position.
How much credit did Dublin deserve for keeping the Cork score to such a low point on Sunday afternoon? Because I was kind of making the point that maybe Cork will regret this as the winter rages on, that they didn't manage to put up a much better scoreline, and because Dublin were there for the taking. But maybe actually the credit deserves to go with the Dublin defence.
Yeah, like in the second half, Cork scored 2 points, and one of them was a free. So really, the Dublin defence deserve a lot of credit. It was quite defensive, like on both sides. You know, I would have liked to see Cork maybe play a bit more on the front foot, but you know, I think they might look back on that and look at things differently. But a big thing to note there is the experience that the Dubs have. Like, they did 4 in a row now, so they're well used to that All-Ireland final day. And Cork, as much as they've been there the last while, some of these girls are only making their debuts this year, and you know, they're a team to watch out for sure.
The other cornerback then is another Cork woman?
Yeah, this is Eric O'Shea. So a flyer. She made her debut for Cork seniors this year, and she's only 18 years of age. Such a talent, like against Galway in the semi-final. So that was the first time she played in Croke Park, and watching her then in the All-Ireland final, I did wonder, would this occasion affect her? But she was just immense. You should have seen her tearing up and down the line, breaking through tackles, just no fear. So what a debut of a year she's had. Someone that we'll definitely hear a lot of over the next year. Like 18, it's just madness.
Yeah, it's great, and the age profile of the team in general does give hope that Cork can actually get back and challenge this Dublin team. We've had all Cork and all Dublin so far, but we're changing things up at number 5, Aisling.
Yeah, this is someone that I just really shone to me in this championship this year. So it's Bláithín Mackin for Armagh. So the way I describe Bláithín is like a Brian Fenton. Like, she glides around the pitch just effortlessly. She's been solid in the half-back line for Armagh this year. She's a great reader of the game, and I think we've seen this year as well, she's well able to get up and down the field, to get on the scoreboard, and something nice as well, she links up well with her sister Amy, you know, to get that long pass into her. And I'd say that's something now they've been practicing over a number of years, because you can see it just works out well for them. So yeah, Bláithín Mackin, number 5, she's a super player. And
then it's 2 Dubs beside her in the half-back line.
Yes, I have Siobhan Mcgrath. Couldn't look by her. It was very tough to pick this half-back line, but you couldn't look by Siobhan. She's been rock solid for Dublin. She has that experience to guide the girls. You know, she's super strong in the tackle. She breaks out with the ball. She lays it off, but then she holds her position. And I think she keeps the girls in check in a sense. In that back line, like letting them know like to pull back or pick up a player. You know, she's a very big influence on that Dublin team. So
Siobhan Mcgrath is your centre back. Who's the other wing back then?
Yeah, then number 7, I went for Goldie, Sinead McGoldrick. The fitness, the pace, I think with Sinead, it's what strikes me most is her ability just to get up and down the pitch, and she's always making that important tackle. Like a lot of the time it's a hand or a leg or even herself. She throws her whole self in front of it, whatever it takes to make that block. So yeah, she got player of the game in the final. She's 7 All-Stars. We can see why. Yeah, just always consistent and a great role model for ladies football.
Yeah, brilliant in the final. So the team so far, just to recap, is Ciara Trant in goals, a full back line of Melissa Duggan, Niamh Collins and Erica O'Shea. And then you've got Siobhan Mcgrath and Sinead Goldrick alongside Bláithín Mackin in the half-back line. And then we move on to the midfield. So who have you gone for here?
Yeah, it's an all Dublin affair. It was tough again to pick this, but I just think with the impact that this midfield made in the third quarter in the All-Ireland final was what really did it for me, and how they worked together. So number 8 was Lauren McGee, just a workhorse, like the legs, she just non-stop up and down the pitch. Great knowledge of the game. She's always looking up for the player in the best position, and she's really grown over the last few years since making her debut in 2016. I spoke with her about a month ago, and she told me about losing her stepdad this year and how tough that was on her, and how the whole team rallied around her. And I was just delighted for her to actually get the All-Ireland win after what's been an extremely tough year for her. And then I went for number 9 was Jennifer Dunn. Jennifer's only 20 years of age. She works tirelessly, and she's been so consistent this year because Owen Carey, she was a huge loss at the start of the year, but Jennifer just stepped up, and look at the year she's had. I was delighted for her, and she really made her presence known in the All-Ireland final. She actually received the pass to set up Carlo Rowe, who was through on goal. Carlo was then pulled down, and that resulted in the penalty, and that's what got the Dubs back in the game. So she had a massive influence in that final. Right, so it's an all-Dublin midfield, and couple of Dublin players as well in the half-forward line, needless to say. So who's your number 10? Yeah, Noelle Healey, just epic. One of the longest-serving Dublin players at this point. She made her debut, I think it was 2007. She's pace to burn, so enjoyable to watch. What I love about Noelle, she takes on her player, and it's a rare Dublin game when you don't see Noelle getting on the scoreboard. A leader in the team, and I think as well this year especially, she's a doctor, so she's been working on the front line. So to have the year that she's had in football, and then to also be juggling work as a doctor in a pandemic, is just amazing. And then we've got our first tip player at centre forward. Yeah, Aisling Maloney. First word that comes to mind when I think of Aisling Maloney is a wizard. She just scores these points, and you're like, how the hell did she do that? Like, she turns her body in such a way that you're like, what? I just don't even know how she got her leg like that. So she's just brilliant to watch, just extremely talented, up there for me in the best in the country. We've seen her play Camogie this year as well, and she was just as good. And not only does she have like an immense ability and skill, she's also another great reader of the game, times her runs, gets into space, and then has the confidence to top it off, takes the scores. We've seen her get 110 against Galway and 1-7 against Monaghan, so just brilliant. So that's Noelle Healey and Aisling Maloney, 2 of your 3 half-forwards. At number 12 then, I guess it's weird that in the Camogie final this year, a penalty was decisive. It was pretty important in the football final as well, and your number 12 was the one who scored it. Yeah, this was Carlo Rowe. She's someone I feel I work so hard to get better and better and better again, and that's just always the impression I've got with her. I believe probably that is why she's as good as she is. She's their powerhouse in the forward line for Dublin. Her pace, strength, getting herself in the right position, which results in all the scoring that she's done this year. So, yeah, she got that all-important goal in the final, and she's a real joy to watch, an exciting player, and someone that's going to have a huge future ahead of her. Right, let's get into the full forward line, because this is interesting. There's no Dubs in your full forward line here. Call us out. We'll start with number 13 here. Who have you gone for? Yeah, no Dubs in the full forward line, but I have Anya O'Sullivan. Couldn't look by Anya. She scored 1-1 in the All-Ireland final. She got the first goal in the first minute of the game. Incredible. She buried it. Incredible, yes. You need to check it out if you haven't. It was top left-hand corner. We've seen her score 3-1 against Cavan in their first group game. She just had a great season this year, really stepped up in the final when they needed her. She's 26 years of age, so we've seen a lot more of her and hearing a lot more of Anya O'Sullivan. So she's your corner forward. You couldn't not pick her, and no, you couldn't not pick your full forward. No, definitely not. This is up there for Player of the Year also. So it's Amy Mackin. Amy just lit up the championship this year. In ways, for me anyway, she's put ladies football on the map a bit more than it already has been, if that makes sense. I just think we need players like Amy in ladies football, and to come back from a cruciate injury and to score like 1-6 against Tyrone, I think it was 2-7 against Mayo. It's just incredible. She has the ability just to flip a game on its head, and when her team is down, she really lifts them right back up, and that's a sign of a brilliant player. So over the next few years, I think we're going to see and hear the name Amy Macken more and more. Something that strikes me actually about Amy is that she's never played in Croke Park, which is madness to me. But I've no doubt that, over the next few years, she will get there. Very special player.
Yeah, it'll probably help with a few more games in Croke Park as well to give that opportunity. 15 then, corner forward from Cork. Who is it?
Yes, so corner forward, I think Orla Finn is just epic for Cork this year. She's a player that I think doesn't always get the credit she deserves. She maybe goes under the radar a small bit. Her free taking is always right on point. And, she finished the year with 120 in 4 games. She got 3 points in the All-Ireland final. So, yeah, I think she's just been a stalwart for Cork over the last number of years. And she's really deserving, I think, of that number 15 position.
The question is, where are all the Meath players in this team, Aisling?
I know. I stuck to the senior, but they could have easily slipped in. I think people like Vicky Wall, we've seen in the All-Ireland final. She got 1-3. And this is another goal you need to check out if you haven't seen it. Her sister Sarah Wall got pulled down in the back line. She got a bad injury, and it was particularly sad because she'd a cruciate injury there the last number of years, and she was only back. And Vicky was clearly upset about it. She was down with her for quite a while till they got her off the pitch. And within the minute of that happening, she responded straight away. Vicky got the ball, ran straight through the Westmeath defence. She did a little shimmy to put the defenders one way. She soloed on her left, and then on her right, she just nailed it into the top left-hand corner. So just something else. So she could have easily fitted into that team. Then you have like Stacey Grimes from Meath as well. She finished up the year with 418. And then Moira O'Shaughnessy as well. She was their midfield and their captain. Super score yesterday from the Kazakhstan side, and she's just such a leader. So I was delighted for them. But they'll be there next year, there or thereabouts. Yeah, you did a truly professional job on it. You didn't let personal bias get in the way. Let's recap your football team of the year. It is Ciara Trant in goals, a full back line of Melissa Duggan, Niamh Collins and Erica O'Shea. The half back line then was Bláithín Macken, Siobhan Mcgrath and Sinead Goldrick. In midfield it was Lauren McGee and Jennifer Dunn. The half-forward line was Noelle Healey, Aisling Maloney and Carlo Rowe. And then your full-forward line was Áine O'Sullivan, Amy Macken and Orla Finn, which means you've only got one more piece of business left to get to. It is your player of the year. Who is it? Yes, this was so tough. I found this really tough now. I don't know. I think everything was saying to me it was Amy Macken, but not that because she didn't get to the All-Ireland final, you can't pick her. I don't think like that, but I just think over this year she really shone to me. It was so close between her and Carlo Rowe, but in the end I gave it to Carlo Rowe. I just think she's just someone that's been so consistent for the Dubs, a real team player, and I think that's the most important thing about her. She's always looking out for the team, whether that's making space to let a player run through or if she's making space to get on the ball, whatever it is. We've seen her get that pressurised penalty in the final. Dublin were down at that point when she took that penalty. Serious pressure. She got them right back in the game. She finished the day with 1-3. She scored 310 for Dublin this year. I believe she is their powerhouse in the Dublin team. I personally love to watch her. Great role model. So, yeah, she is my player of the year. Yeah, and you can stick a penalty like that under the greatest of pressure as well. You probably deserve to eke out the competition. So, Carlo Rowe is your footballer of the year. Fair play, Aisling. Happy Christmas to you. Thanks a million for that. Brilliant, Owen. Thank you. Happy Christmas. Cheers. Aisling O'Reilly there on the line doing her football team of the year. You've been watching the Off the Ball Stars. OTBAM is live in association with Gillette. Good morning start with Gillette, giving you the confidence to tackle the day ahead. That is our lot for Christmas, really. Have a very happy Christmas. Stay safe out there. Thanks a million for being with us all this year on OTBAM. We'll be back across Christmas with more good stuff, but that is our Off the Ball Stars for this year. Congratulations to all the winners and thanks a million to all the esteemed judges for helping us out. Happy Christmas. Bye-bye for now.
OTB AM. With Gillette, we don't just play the game, we change it. Gillette, made of what matters.